some pre-industrial situation, or prehistorical situation where we're just running around hunting impalas and what have you. We're not going back to the patriarchy. It's dead. It's dead. And you can rant on about it and call us names all you want, but we're not going back there. So until all these traditionalists who enjoy slinging mud so much come up with better solutions than blaming a few men who've chosen to go their own way, men as a collective, or well, whatever other theory suits their needs, Marxist, socialists, Jews, etc., and so on and so forth. I want to hear what how they're going to usher in the patriarchy again. Instead of just ranting on about how, because my position, as well as the position of many others, is it's dead. It's not coming back. Women didn't want to be part of it anymore, and that's why they chose and left. And guess what? Guess what? Because men throughout history have always granted what women wanted. When women said we didn't want to be part of it anymore, men gave it to them. Men gave them the pill. They gave them no-fault divorce. Men gave them the freedom to do whatever they wanted, because that is, in essence, what the illusion of patriarchy is. It's a form of matriarchal rule by proxy, where the man labors for the sake of the woman, where the woman's concerns come first. And so what happened in the mid-latish 20th century was nothing new. It was just men doing what they've always done, giving women exactly what they wanted. And women got up and left. Do you get that? I mean, do I need to spell it out? They chose of their own free will to get up and leave. They said, see ya, and they didn't look back. And you can rant on about how paternalism had, yes, that is the pluperfect, yeah, the past had brought about all these great things, creations and innovations, civilization, and that's true. Just like I can rant on about the glories of Rome, or the time when the Fertile Crescent was the apex of civilization. That's all true as well. But it's done, and it's gone, and it's not coming back. If you don't believe me, you can look at the ruins of Rome. But I don't know how much more anyone can spell this out to these guys. They simply insist on blaming men collectively, and specifically men going their own way. We have no influence whatsoever on the masses of women getting divorced, taking advantage of alimony, and just basically doing their own thing without any sort of introspection as to who brought it all about, namely men, without any sort of concern for the lives of the men they destroy. No, it's all men's fault. So this is typical. It's not even covert, but typical misandry. And you see it in the lines of their arguments, calling men degenerates or homosexuals because they made these men, specifically men going their own way. We choose not to get in line and just follow the dictates of what we're quote unquote supposed to do. So yeah, Pandora's box. Yeah, the lid has been wrenched forth. We cannot put the lid back on. And I challenge anyone to come up with a way other than blowing ourselves back to the Stone Age, living in some cave somewhere, like 30,000 years ago, or at best some sort of pre-industrial state. If you can come up with a scenario better than that, or coercively forcing women, collectively speaking, to go back to the patriarchy, I mean, this is a pipe dream. So, less name calling, less accusations founded on nothing, and more solutions. I mean, and of course, one solution I've heard, is that we've always lived in the patriarchy and we continue to live in a patriarchy. Well, what is the patriarchy? Let me just make it clear that the patriarchy really is a code for a more or less covert matriarchal rule. The power of women throughout history has been, for the most part, covert. I'm thinking about doing this at some point in time, but for example, if you look at women's input in American Prohibition, it's incredible. You should do some reading on that. So women have almost always informed men's decisions, and the direction that society took was often based on women's behind the scenes input and behind the scenes wishes. Well, now women not only have covert influence, they have overt influence. Gynocentrism has always been present, and the patriarchy was no exception. Men did have the tools, or more the authority to exercise certain things, but it was all done in the service of women. Yes, gynocentric. So all you patriarchs out there, you're just as gynocentric as all the rest. Serve the women's. Anyway, it's a bit of a rant, but yeah, we're not going back to the patriarchy. It's done. You know, like the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs once ruled the earth. They were fierce. They had T-Rex and Allosaurus, fearsome predators. It's done. They're not coming back. Do you get that? ¿Entiendes? Do you understand? It's done. What scenario can you come up with? What scenario can you come up with where the patriarchy comes back? Okay. Other than blowing ourselves back to the Stone Age, to some Mad Max wasteland, yeah, we'll get paternalism again. I mean, yeah. Anyway, you come up with some solutions, you traditionalists, nice traditionalist folk, and we'll just continue doing our own thing. And your solutions, I would suggest, really actually have to be effective and actually have to be realistic. And accusing a couple of men of rejecting their biological prescriptions and imperatives, that's not a solution. And calling men a variety of creative names isn't a solution either. The patriarchy is dead. Live with it. Deal with it. That's life.